I hope this is working. I tested it out yesterday and it all worked fine. Hello, everyone. My name is Vincent Louis Carella, and I gotta tell you, what I really want to do right now is scream. If I could scream for 15 solid minutes, I would. That's how I feel about what's going on in the world and what's going on inside of me. Um, I'm going to read 5 poems today. They're about 2 minutes each, so I should have enough time. Um, am I here? Are you listening? Are you hearing me? I'm typing to people. All right, cool. All right, so I'm just going to read poems. I, I don't know. I don't know how to do this. This is called Keepers of the Night World. A groundswell of blues and silvers marks the way of shadows in the hollows, among the tombstone rocks, in the land of voiceless murmurs. I wander in the dry wash, in the footprints of sheep. I follow ghosts and kestrels to where a lone chimney rises. A stark pillar of riverstone is all that remains from the days of gold. Stunted oaks and pinions cast boughs before me like the black fractured hearts of men who walk the creosote plain as lonely oscillations. The dead are waveforms. They crackle in the static at the hearthstones and wonder at the flue. They tended their fire here. The wishful. They left their marks and ashes, a twin star impression, a destination for prayers. The gallery above me turns on its rim, burning, burning, givers of being, burning cold and burning, keepers of the night world. I am already dead beneath them, lights from the beyond. Join me in the vastness of vastnesses, and put your mind to rest. Bury it like an old cat in the yard. I wrote that poem at Joshua Tree in Southern California, and I wrote this poem in Germany. It's called Kun Scholar. In her hands, the painted portraits of ancient children and queens. In her eyes, everything. Her mouth, in every parting mouth. Her heart in his hand, whisking, waxing, whispering, owl of Picasso, howl of the beats, within withering Van Gogh's whoosh, whoosh, whooshing, with every creaking footstep he takes, in eons, in ages, ghostly, Kunsthaler, ghost-like wanderers, dreamlike insects, silky membranes, soul-splayed fondler, butterfly pin drops on balsa wood wedges, her arms and shoulders in soft pink pastels, in dipping Degas torsos, the thigh raises, the arabesques bending, the foot washing, turning, her neck, her comb, her hand, her nape, tilting to lightness. The elegance of woman, spinning, arms raising, curving, blooming poppies, drifting misty Monet bridges, praying folded Roman arches, feet together interlocking, cupping, coming, being palmless wings of swamp fairies and lithographic damsels, bespattered, besmeared, every tiny snowflake turning. The deserting city parks abandoning, lying, pot black ponds waiting, obsidian, ovoid, opaque, swirling, rising, blowing, the soft jerky motion, crystals of ice, where she resides in maiden form on snowflakes, darting bits of cold dust, flitting before his window like brine shrimp, creatures of wonder, sea monkeys fooling him as a boy. In the back pages of comic books where tiny Apaches raided molded plastic forts where seeds and grit and fabulous submarines hold sway, and Stan Lee and Kirby were the masters of myth long before Chagall and Munch. When did she become everything? An inhabitant of the Kun Scholar, of himself, the same places where solitary hamsters forage strange installations for bits of corn, and great generals and saints echo thousands of miles from the source. She is there, like a blue shadow in the smell of old wood, thick as a childhood memory of summertime, invisible as blood, resident, resplendent, moving to tears with her surprise appearances in other arms, in other fingers, cheekbones, skins, the beckons that beckons to be touched, where mirrors no longer function, where his eyes, even his own eyes, dissolve within the chrysalis of her love. Okay, this is called Point Rays. There is wind. There is cold ocean wind. There are gray waves and white caps and old boats washed up on gravel bars and sunlight in the Spanish moss, and tulielk like paper black targets strung out on the ridgeline. There is driftwood by the armload, and big dumb things with Rorschach blots that low and stink of rotten grass and wet hay. There are dogs who go about us, spirit guides, mud-stained angels that run and swim and retrieve from the sea these wonderful objects made of wood, washed clean by blowing sand, aghast and lonesome, waiting for that first touch. There are waves on the sea, and birds, Cooper's hawks and vultures, grackles on the split-rail fence, ravens on the roadside wires, there at that dairy farm where we stopped to admire, there among the turning gulls, the terns, and owls and kites, shrill calling coyotes, a myriad of sparrows and wrens. We are children. We are little golden mirrors made of plaster and bits of shell. We are narrow. We start at the side of the road and flow over the low dunes and down to the sea in these fragile ships of ours, where cool salt spray stings our eyes among the sweet musk of Holstein cows, floating up the meadows above the wicker dunes. Cormorants come in droves of sparkle. Moss gathers. Deadfalls speak of days to come filled with bright hope, for more joy, some from our days of wonder, those untold adventures of faraway boys. Okay. This is called Love as an Obscene Gesture. The weight of it, the heaviness of the living, an absence of air in the cold dark water, electric sensations on the boundaries of the skin, like a dew claw awareness of deep summer grasses, wetting the white marble enclaves at the back of your knees, the humming, gnawing, skeletal vibrations where you once fit, ears screaming, the arrhythmic pumping of the fist, beating against the meat of the thighs, the phantom limbs flailing for purchase on ice. On a rain-slicked tarmac of flint, the wings of the roadkill angel fluttering with each passing whoosh of wind. The acid seep of silence, the denial of mouths, the battering, grating, fan blades of hours, cutting open the thoracic housing where you once lived, shovel blades that strike only stone, subcutaneous splinters of wood, hammers, a full force smashing of thumbs, a perpetual sort of mad cow stagger, neural failure, inexplicable tics, incessant scratching, a profound loss of hunger, an ever-widening chasm of apathy, jumper cables clamped onto testicles, X-Acto knives pushed slowly beneath fingernails, a cognitive retardation that begins with slurs and lisps, weeping at old disco, at kindnesses, at the sight of mothers grasping for hands. Love as an obscene gesture, flipping you off on the freeway, traded away for cigarettes, wiped off a heel on the curb. There is only the sound of breathing. There is only the in and out breath. Language is dying. Language is dead. Wonder is slipping away. You yearn for a sky filled with swallows. You yearn for the cold dark sea. You swoon beneath the weight of it, the vanishing, the truth. Your hands are like birds on a long, slow migration. And we will transition now, speaking of birds, to a poem called Bird Killer. You've got things that need getting done. Wrongs to right, lives to save, languages to become. There are too many corpses to resurrect for just one Jesus, and the blind stretch for miles down the mountain road. When people you love hate each other, you find yourself orphaned in a stand of oak. You open your mouth to speak, and all that comes out is coal dust and pebbles. The trees don't answer. You hope for a whisper, but they don't answer. They won't yield their secrets to the likes of you. Even when the words you were given no longer serve you, even the silence is filled with screams. Don't worry. The dead know things that won't help you now. That's why they're so quiet. That's why they don't come. All your fear is for nothing. The enemy sleeps within you like a worm. You hear yourself talking like a fool, lost in your tragic dance of preservation, living again those days of shame and terror, stomping on the lilacs, killing all the spiders, crushing the little wren in the palm of your hand. Like the monster in the movies, you find yourself staring into the mirror, still water, muttering, murderer, fiend, abomination, muttering, why have I forsaken you? Smaller than an atom, fleeting like a gnat. Who are you, killer? Hypocrite preacher of the blackened skin, lace my lips like shoes, so closed the lids of my eyes. Take my body, take my hand, I am shrunken. My mouth is filled with clay. This pain is nothing. The bird lies shaking in her nest with both wings broken. She cannot sing. She cannot sing. I am the window of deception. In certain light I am the sky. Her neck is cockeyed. The imprint of her feathers remains on the glass. What can you do now but pitter? So I've got about 2.5 minutes left here. I'm not going to fill that time with another poem. I'm sorry if I brought you down with this dark, heavy stuff, but this is my poetry. So you can read all this on my WordPress blog, The Time of Sand and Bone, and I hope and thank you all for allowing me this opportunity. And have a happy Easter and happy Poetry Month. Bye, everyone.